Hi, this is a video to help you complete the secondary dominant project in Finale and then export it to a digital audio workstation so you can add live audio. Okay, first stage is preparation. So you have to follow these steps. I will lead you through that right now. So the first thing you have to do is set up Finale to be easy to use. So you open up your folder, open up the file, you click on the window menu and you make sure you've activated the main tool palette and the simple entry palette. The main tool palette looks like this. It has a bunch of tools on it that you don't need them all, but you need a few of them. And this is a simple entry palette which you use to choose your notes, although we're going to use a shortcut to do that later. Then the next thing you do is you want to get into simple entry mode to set up a few shortcuts. So you click on either one of these notes or on this note right here, and you'll be in the simple entry tool. Then you'll see a simple entry menu appear. Click on that. Click on simple entry options. Deselect these top four. Click on edit keyboard shortcuts. Select laptop shortcut table. If it says default, change it to laptop shortcut table. Press OK. Press OK. Then go to your Apple menu, which is not a Finale thing, it's a computer thing. Apple menu, System Preferences. Click on Keyboard and choose this top window. Make sure it's chosen. If it's blank, you want to click it and select it. That's what you want. Now that you've set up your computer like this, it will be easy to do note entry. You can grab your note value there, or you can select it from the number keys on your laptop. So if I hit 7, I get a whole note. If I hit 6, watch this note change. Changes to a half note. 5 gives me a quarter note. 4 gives me an eighth note. 3 gives me a 16th note. So it's a very quick way to change note durations instead of having to go up to here. And now I'm going to I'm going to do this project in C major, and I'm entering a C major 7 chord there. And now, because of our settings, I can use the function keys. Those are the keys at the very top of your laptop, the F keys, as intervals. So I know that my chord is built on thirds, so I hit F3. And I get my chord entered very quickly. Okay, then there's a few other manipulations you need to know about. Now I need to put in my bass note too. Now say I don't like the voice, I put in my voicing, but I want to get my notes a little bit lower, which is a good idea. It's you shouldn't write, for four-way close in this project, you shouldn't write anything above the A right here. So the way we do that is we manipulate the chord by moving up through it by holding down Command arrow, go to the top note, and then hit Shift arrow to bring it down an octave. Then Command arrow up and Shift arrow down and so on. But I'm going to leave it like this. There's my voicing of C major 7. Okay, then the next phase of our setup is that we need to know how to play back and how to access various tools. So the way we do that, playback, is you go to the window and you can choose the playback controls, and it looks like this. And if you click on this little triangle, you can get more options. I'm going to preset it with no human playback because that makes playback faster, and with leftmost measure and end of piece here, I can explain that in more detail in another video, but that's the way it's preset, and that's good for this project. You can change the tempo here. You could type a higher number, and okay, so that's the playback controls. Now when you do it, you click on it, it will start playing back like this. And you'll see just if there's a drum beat playing back that you don't see, well, that's in a hidden layer. The way you get to that is by doing Command E, and you'll see the drum beat there. If you don't want it, you can click on it and just press Command X and you'll erase it. You don't have to use it, but it's just there for those people that are wanting to have a little rhythm to play their melody against. If you don't want it to play back, I'll show you another way to leave it there but without playing back. So now I'm closing I'm going to show you the other way to play back besides what I just showed you. Turn off the playback, get rid of the playback window, and you can do manual playback, which I find is the most useful way. So with the playback window off, you select a measure and you simply hit spacebar click and it will play back. And notice the drums are not playing back because they'll only play back if you use the playback window or if you click really low on the staff. Another way to play back is to have is to use your cursor by holding down Option and the playback together, and then it will play back wherever your cursor is. And then it will move very slowly. I will move at the speed of your cursor and play back like that. So you can go very slowly through the piece and audition different parts of it. Okay, that's playback. Now the final thing is the selection tool. So the selection tool is the most important tool. It looks like this. It's like a little arrow. And the way you get to it if you're in some other tool is you hit the escape button, and you'll see how it goes to that tool. The selection tool is very useful because it holds all the other tools. So if you click on a measure and you want to do something like change the key or whatever, set a key signature or something, you just simply do Control click and you get this menu of all these different things you can do. You're not going to need very many of them for this project, but you will need the key signature selection. So now I will show you how to do that, because that's the final preparation that you need. You need to select your key because you're being asked to do this in a key other than C major. So what you do is you make sure you're in the selection tool as opposed to the simple entry tool. If you're in the simple entry tool, you hit escape to get into the selection tool. And then you just click on a measure, and then you do Command A to select all your measures. Then you do Control click to get your menu to open up, scroll down, go to your key signature, and choose whatever key you're going to be in. Like say you're going to be in D, and then it will just put the whole thing in D. Okay, that's key signature. Okay, now we're ready for the next phase to enter the harmony. So you decide on your key, and then you're going to decide on your chords using the prompts that are in the file. But to get all your chords assembled, you're going to be using a combination of diatonic chords and secondary dominants. So what you should do is write out the diatonic chords in your key along with their available tensions, which you should know from our studies in class what those are. And then you should write out your secondary dominants, 5, 7 of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and write them out with their available tensions, which again you should know from our studies. And have that as a list, and then when you go through the file you will be able to consult that. So now let's start deciding on chords. Now in order to do this we need the chord symbol tool, and we'll learn how to use Roman numerals as well in finale. So the chord symbol tool is right here. It looks like a C major 7 chord symbol. You click on that, and in that tool you will just click on the staff, and there will be a cursor, and you type the capital letter. In this case I'm going to do C major 7. Then I do M-A-J, in this case, C major 7, C, M-A-J 7, hit return, and the chord symbol has now been entered, and you can always move it up to get it in line with this. Then it's time for me to choose my next chord, so I looked at the prompt and it says, oh, I have to use a secondary dominant or a secondary dominant 2/5 pattern. So I'm going to choose a secondary dominant from my list, and I think I will choose 5, 7 of 6, so that's an E7 chord in this key. So I go back to my chord symbol tool, I click, I type a capital E, a 7, 7, and hit return, and now I've got my E7 chord symbol. And then it needs to go to the resolution, the expected resolution, so it's 5, 7 of 6, so it's going to go to the 6th chord, and that in this key is A minor 7, so I'm going to engage my chord tool again, type in A dash for minor 7, hit return, and now I have my minor 7 chord in place. And then I have my own choice here, so I'm going to just choose a diatonic chord, and in this case I'm going to choose F major 7. I could have chosen a different chord, any number of other chords, but I'm just choosing that for now and putting that there. Okay, now I'm ready to start putting in my actual notes. Obviously I haven't finished, but this is enough to give you the idea. So this is where I need to enter my actual voicing. So the first thing I'm going to do is engage the simple entry tool by clicking on a note, and I'm going to put in my correct bass notes. There's my E, there's my A, and here's my F. Then I'm going to go up here and create my voicing. Now the most foolproof way to do it is to do root position first and then voice lead, so we'll do it that way. So I'm clicking on E. Then I know from my shortcuts I've set up I can use the F key to do intervals, so I do thirds. And I currently have a E minor 7 chord because that's what's diatonic. So I need to change it to an E7 chord, so this is where your knowledge of chord spelling comes into play. But I will remind you that all secondary dominants require at least one non-diatonic note, and usually in most of them the non-diatonic note is the third, and the third has to be raised to create a leading tone. Leading tone is a half step below its target. Our target is A, G sharp is leading to A. That will make this chord into a dominant chord, major chord with a minor 7th. And so now we have the correct notes, E7. But it's not voice led, so how do I voice lead it? Well, I need to bring some of these notes down. So I will use my other shortcut I showed you earlier, Command arrow to move up through the chord. Command arrow allows you to move up and down through the chord. And I'm moving up to the top note, and when I'm there I use my other shortcut, Shift arrow down to bring it down an octave. Still not voice led as well as I want, so I'm going to arrow up to my top note and shift down, and now it's voice led well because we have common tones in the same voice, or similar tones, G to G sharp there, E to E in this voice, that's good voice leading. So now I have my voicing, and now let me check my playback options. Remember, without the playback window open, I can just do option spacebar and hear my first chord, and then hear my second chord, my moving over. And I like the way that sounds, so now I'm going to do my A minor 7. And I click on there, and I do my F3 to get my intervals, and then I could move down, but this chord is so high, I think I'll just move the entire chord down by selecting Command A to select all the notes, Shift arrow down, and then that turns out to be well voice led, just like that. And then I'm going to do my F chord the same way, and that's also very high, so I will do Command A, Shift arrow down. Then I will Command arrow down to the F, it's a little bit low, and maybe bring that up an octave. Okay. Final step is to put in 9-for-1 voicings, that is to make use of available tensions. So on any chord that has an available 9, we will use it. All 9s will be diatonic. So if it's available in the chord, you simply take the root and move it up a step, a diatonic step, and it will become a 9. You should know by now that there is an available 9 on the 1 chord. There is an available 9 on all the dominant chords, and there's an available 9 on everything actually except 3 minor 7. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to my root arrow and select it, and then do my arrow to create a 9. Go to my root in this chord, create a 9. Go to my root in this chord, create a 9, and go to my root in this chord and create a 9. And now I have this rich sound. Okay, that's sounding good. Now it's time for me to do my analysis.